Hello guys, welcome back to Pulp Kitchen. We are here to talk to you about today is the Oscars, but specifically the Oscars from 10 years ago, from 2015. Each year we have the Oscars and there are multiple films put forward, but the real question is, how many of those carry forward and stay with us as great films? A big problem that often happens in the Oscars race is that films get pushed forward, try to get nominated or do get nominated, and then they never get talked about again. Yeah. And they only seem to exist to be nominated for an Oscar. And each year on the show, we've done this fun little game where I try and get James to remember what films came out 10 years ago.
Which can be quite hard. Usually get a good amount. I was just about to say, well, it's good because it's getting closer to today, and I realise that's not how time works. No, that's not how 10 years ago works. It's always the same amount of time.
That's relativity.
From when we first did it. Well, I'm like, well, it's catching up. I still think it's 2021.
So, in that spirit, we are going to run through, I'm going to try and get James to guess the 8 films that were nominated for Best Picture in 2015. So these are recognising the best films of 2014.
So in thank you. That's always important because I sometimes come with next year's game. So 2015, you and I knew each other?
Just met each other.
So the
Oscar season was happening, James, as you and I were in the wings
connecting.
of the play.
Isn't that great? We're in our friendship realm now.
We've reached
10 years, George.
Yes.
10 years I've known you.
We've acknowledged it on the show, haven't we?
I know. But it's like,
amazing.
Isn't it great?
We're in the decade
so
now.
that really helps me put into context. By the way, completely separately, you know your ability to like place the day of the week from a date from within like 10 to 15 years. It's very impressive. It takes you about 30 seconds to a minute.
Can't always do it. 80% success.
I found a video which I want to send you on TikTok of a woman who can do that, but instantly.
I know exactly. The woman, she was like, oh, that was a 1981? When we were going
There were fires. I
remember. I saw that and I thought I was going to send it to you.
That is your final form. She's incredible. She remembers everything that ever happened on what day it was, and she'll sort of place it with moments that were happening in the news. And it's like if you just kept evolving, or if you practiced, that would be what we're doing.
She's Charizard.
You're Charmander. Yeah. So the reason I say that is because I've been able to place it at uni. I remember the films that I think we were talking about around that time. So my first suggestion is going to be Whiplash.
Correct. Whiplash.
Which is a film that came out for us when we were at university, and what a film it was.
We were talking about it on the way to screening the other day, I think. We were just saying that, like, yes, it is a film that has got a kind of connotation of being a little bit bro-y now, and the same way like Fight Club does or Pulp Fiction. Still a bloody good film. It's still really fantastic. Good. I think it's great. Definitely one of my favourites.
It's just punchy and bold and sharp.
And economical. It's like a Swiss watch. There's no fat on that film at all. I remember seeing it for the first time came out thinking, wow, what an amazing thing. Go check out our episode we did last year on best movies of the 2010s.
Yes.
We talked about Whiplash a lot.
That opening with the drums. Dum,
yeah.
Dum, 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 dum,
down the hallway.
So good.
I know I can watch Whiplash. I can watch Whiplash every year. I definitely can rewatch it all the time.
Good.
So for me, like, we're talking about films that have carried through.
Yeah,
Whiplash absolutely.
Top of the list. So from Whiplash, the other easy to mention next one is Birdman.
Correct. Birdman,
Alejandro Iñárritu
took the award for Best Picture.
Yes.
That's right. And I've only seen it once. Oh, no, I have seen it twice now.
I've seen it twice.
Wait, where do we... I think
you don't like Birdman as much as me. I like it. I don't love it. I think I appreciate its... what do I appreciate about it? You just caught me buffering as a podcast.
The files.
I think it's very good to look at. I think it's quite different and interesting. I like in particular the scenes with Ed Norton and Emma Stone on the balcony looking over Broadway. I think they do really well in there. It's a bit indulgent. It's
a good cast, like Michael Keaton in it, but I do find it indulgent. What annoys me is that it's like having a pop at like the pretentiousness of the entertainment
heavy-handed
world.
Things there, yeah.
And I'm like, you are yourself a very pretentious film that I think you want to have your cake and eat.
Didn't like the ending of Birdman.
No,
but I enjoyed
the jellyfish at the beginning.
No, but I enjoyed the motion of the ocean. If that makes sense.
You've got Hairspray on your mind, haven't you?
I do.
That's what that's from. You can stop the motion of the ocean, the sun in the sky. You can try to hold me down, but I'll spit in your eye and say you can't stop the beat. Anyway, Birdman. So I'm not so. But that was the film that gave us the new era of Michael Keaton, which you and I are very much appreciating.
Yes. Yeah. He'd otherwise been fairly dormant. Yeah, and Emma Stone doing something a little bit different for 2015
Yeah,
at the
that was
time,
her
2014.
first. I think she got Oscar nominated for Best Supporting in that.
God, yeah, if you think about what a different place she's in her career right now.
Yeah, she was. I've got the whole Academy page up here. She was Oscar nominated for that. Okay, James, that's 2 down. So you've got 6 more to go.
2015. So
Well, I'll give you a hint. The Best Picture race was between 2 films. Birdman won,
yeah,
but another film could have won.
it's American Sniper.
No, but that is
in there,
another one of the
yeah.
films. Let's talk about American Sniper.
Didn't love American
No, I
Sniper.
didn't love it either.
I think it's Clint Eastwood directing it. He's got political ideas. I thought it was a bit of a strange film. Moments of real tension, really well done scenes. When I think it's the opening with the sniping.
Yeah, the trailer basically, isn't it?
Yeah. I don't know. I've not seen it. I think I saw it when it came out when it first came out on digital. And then I just haven't seen it since.
You know how people ask us about where we like to sit in the cinema, and you and I tell people we're row D people, typically. Yes. I learned that at the screening of American Sniper.
Because you were too far back.
I went to see American Sniper on a rubbish, damp Sunday evening in Brighton, at the Brighton Odeon, which is not a great cinema, very depressing, with my 2 flatmates. Yeah. And we were sat at the back, and I just remember sort of halfway through this film, which I wasn't really enjoying, which I found was quite depressing for me anyway.
Yeah.
Very empty auditorium. I could see people at the front and stuff. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't ever want to sit this far back again. I don't want to see this depressing cinema that I'm in. Yeah. I don't want to see the people. I don't want to be reminded why I'm here. I need to be up in the film to have its best shot. No pun intended.
I saw Ex Machina there, and I was really close, and that worked for me.
Yeah.
And it was a small screening, but I don't know why. I remember seeing Ex Machina there.
American Sniper also. But that was the first, apart from Silver Linings Playbook, this was this Bradley Cooper had a big 2015, 14. This is peak Bradley Cooper.
This is when he was really coming as
Oscar
the biggest
nominated
star, post Hangover big star. Yeah,
Oscar nominated for that.
So
you have 5 more.
Okay, 2015. This, I think, is this Theory of Everything year.
Well done. Yeah, I thought that was going to be the hardest one to get.
And Eddie Redmayne won the Oscar for...
That's right. So Eddie Redmayne won the Oscar for playing Stephen Hawking in that film. I've only seen it once. At the time, I really liked it. I thought it was great. I can probably see, looking back now, how it might be a little bit safe, nuts and bolts.
I found it a slog.
Did you
actually?
actually?
Watched it together, and I found it depressing and slow. And
really?
Yeah, no, I didn't connect with it at all.
Oh,
I don't think it's a bad film. I was just like, we watched it at home, and I was checking my watch. Didn't really connect with it at all.
Good performance, though. Do you agree?
Yeah,
I think he's
good in it. Yeah.
Okay.
Bad aging of Felicity Jones at the end.
I don't remember that. All I remember
they
is
were like,
that
look at our children. Look what we've done.
All I know is that isn't that a former Chelsea player plays a surgeon at one point? Because I saw it with my mum and she was like,
who would that be?
I'll tell you what, I'll find it for you right
Find
now.
out. That's a weird one.
Frank LaBeouf. Former Chelsea player Frank LaBeouf plays a surgeon in The Theory of Everything.
How interesting.
You have 4 more films.
The Revenant is next year.
Next year. When we'll do this again.
Well, yeah, I mean, Annie Rita wouldn't have had 2. We would know if he had Birdman. So...
Okay, let me see
Hold on. Is Grand Budapest Hotel this year?
Well done. Yeah. Grand Budapest, indeed. And I remember it being nominated for Best Picture because it had come out in May 2014.
Another great Ralph Fiennes performance.
Which is early for a film to be nominated. You know, it's something like June Part 2 this year. We both like the.
I love Grand Budapest.
I think it's great.
I think it's my favourite Wes Anderson. Not that I've seen them all. I just think it's brilliant.
I think it's brilliant, and I think it's most people's favourite. I think it's the most accessible. I think it's where, for me, the oddness of his style worked. And it's got a bit of poignancy.
It's really layered. It just layers on top of you, that whole film.
You've got this kind of delightful film that's about cakes and art theft and murder, but underneath it's sort of about the beginning of fascism in Europe. Yeah. It's twinkly like that. Great casting as well. Jude Law is kind of
It's stunning outside. To look at. Every scene gorgeous. Is just masterfully crafted.
I think it's a great one for that year. So you've got 3 more, James.
Do you really like the other films?
One of them I do really like, but I haven't seen it in 10 years. So I can't confirm whether or not I actually think that still. Isn't that funny?
It's Boyhood.
Correct.
Boyhood.
Now, I saw Boyhood at cinema when it came out.
Seen it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, I wonder how that views for you. So I saw it at the cinema and I thought it was okay. I saw it, by the way, in my peak Linklater adoration phase, right? I'd just seen the 3 before films and I was ready for it. I thought it was okay. And then I rewatched it at home, again, on home turf, in early 2015. And I was like, this is a masterpiece.
Yeah.
This is interesting. And what I thought was interesting, I was like, he's tapped into some sort of academic, like primal cinematic apparatus thing here, where by getting you locked in, but getting you to lock in and look at an image of somebody slowly aging, not slowly, but aging through the process of cinema. I don't know what I'm saying.
No, I see what you mean.
Using the process of cinema to show someone aging on screen before your very eyes. I felt it unlocked something higher up, an upper register. That I was like, that's really clever
as well as an experience.
Yeah.
Well, it can be done, but you just
I think
have to have started a while ago.
Some people might have seen it as a gimmick, but I think it tapped into something else, and it's hard to describe. But I was like, what I'm getting now from this sort of wave of watching Boyhood is something deeper. I will also say that the boy in Boyhood is our age, and there's a moment that's always stuck with me where it's like what would have been 2008, and he's on a camping trip with his dad, played by Ethan Hawke, and he's like, this guy at school, we got nothing in common. Oh no, he's like flirting with a girl, and he says, but she and I've got nothing in common. She says her favorite film is this, but everyone knows the best films to come out this year: Tropic Thunder, The Dark Knight, and Pineapple Express. And I was like, whoa, I'm right back at school. I'm right there, and I love that little moment. So I'd be interested to know what you think.
Yeah, I think at the time, subconsciously, I obviously knew about the gimmick, in inverted commas, of it being shot over a number of years and you seeing this boy age. I wonder if I didn't hear enough people like really emphatically praise it. And I don't know why, I just never really got around to it. And it's like, I think you're the person who likes it the most of everyone I've spoken to. I've spoken to other people who enjoy it, and I don't know when is a good time to just jump in, but like I would really like to see it because it's very unique.
But it's also, for me, that's like double my 5-year rule. That's 10 years ago since I've seen it.
Yeah, you
so
should fucking shut up and just go, well, who knows?
I should go back and rewatch it myself. I know there's one scene of...
We could revisit it as a little
could
thing.
do. Maybe it's like the brutalist of its time, because some people think it's really boring.
Right, okay. I think I'd heard things like that as well.
And there's one scene in it of like childhood dialogue between like kids that isn't very good.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I hate when you show like teenagers trying to be teenagers. I'm like,
it's always tricky, isn't it? So I got 2 left.
You now have 2 left. And these for me are like 2015.
Yeah. Any clues for either one of them?
Both are led by accomplished, respectable British actors playing famous people in both of them.
Oh.
So not just The Theory of Everything. You've got 2 more that are about
biopics.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sort of. But not one of them's not like a strict biopic. It's about a particular episode in this famous person's life. One of them is about a very famous American person who has a national holiday named after
Selma.
Them. Correct.
Selma.
Martin Luther King.
Yes.
Played by David Oyelowo.
I've seen Selma, and I don't really remember that much about it. Like, I've seen it. I admire it. It's good.
I don't know if I do think it's good. I remember watching it thinking it felt incredibly textbook, bog standard, nuts and bolts. I quite like Ava DuVernay.
I've not seen it in so long, so I'm gonna withdraw to your rule
again
and sort of be like,
I've only seen it once 10 years ago, but I do remember thinking, this is pretty staid. This is pretty familiar and not doing anything. I thought David Oyelowo was good. Do you know what was interesting about Selma is that Steven Spielberg owned the rights to Martin Luther King's speeches, and he didn't relinquish them for this film. So they couldn't do any of to do a film about the March on Selma. They couldn't use any.
Maybe
Martin
he's
Luther
sitting on a film that he wants to do, but now has to wait because Selma came. He could probably do it now.
But in the same way that you have, a music biopic where you can't use the musicians, things never really work. So you have Martin Luther King, one of the most famous orators, who couldn't use his own. Anyway, so you've got one more.
He's got another biopic from an accomplished British actor.
Yes.
Is this a good film?
Only seen it once, 10 years ago.
Yeah.
For this award season. I think it's solid, I think you probably say, solid, quite a good cast.
As a British actor, is it a British story?
Yes.
Is it The Imitation Game?
It is. Spot on. The
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Alan Turing.
Nice film, good story. Yeah. I think it's a story that really deserved to be told.
Yes, absolutely.
And, it's been so long. I like it.
Keira Knightley, Charles Dance, Mark Strong.
Benedict Cumberbatch was... when did he do The Fifth Estate? Was that about this time? The one where he plays Julian Assange?
No, that was like a few years before.
But I mean, like, he was really churning out some of these like big,
post-Sherlock,
leading man films.
Yes, this was his like.
Did he get nominated for this? He would have done.
Yeah. So I remember him doing that with the round table.
He was about to do Doctor Strange 1.
Yeah, this was Pete Cumberbatch.
Pete Cumberbatch.
It's a good film. It's a sad film.
With Matthew Good, is he in there?
Matthew Good's
Matthew is good.
Keira Knightley and Charles Dance and Mark Strong.
So I remember for some reason posters for The Imitation Game were on the tube for a really long time. Years after.
Him in front of all the circular things, the Enigma machine.
I want to say I was on the tube during COVID times.
Wow.
And the posters to The Imitation Game were there. And I was like, why is this here? Nobody bought the ad space in that time.
If anyone is listening who goes through Stratford Station frequently, can you tell me if the poster for the Keira Knightley movie, The Aftermath, is still there? Because I do remember I told you that when I had to go through Stratford. That was 2023 and the movie poster was still there. If it's still there, I need to know. I need to know. So if you're from anyone going through Stratford Station, tell me. Those were the films.
Nice.
I think our favourites, the ones that stand out are Whiplash and Grand Budapest.
Yeah.
I think we could forget things like American Sniper. And you might want to check out Boyhood.
And what would be your pick for Best Picture, George?
From those?
Whiplash.
Whiplash, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And then I would probably say Grand Budapest.
Yeah. I'd give it.
I mean, with the caveat that I would normally give it to Boyhood, but I haven't seen Boyhood in so long.
Are you giving the Best Supporting to J.K. Simmons?
Yeah, he won anyway.
I know, I'm saying, are you giving it to him?
Yes, even though it robs Ethan Hawke of an Oscar. Yes, I would. At the time, I was like, Boyhood should have done. Boyhood actually still should have won because it was such a unique achievement. Okay,
He's come back in.
More than just a fake one. The whole one take thing in Birdman is a lie. It's not a one take movie. They stitch it together to just say, no.
It's like, no. It wouldn't say. It wasn't have a thing. All of this is shot in one camera reel.
Some films have done that. Okay, and with great difficulty.
Yeah, but they weren't claiming it was one take.
No, I know, but
it's an illusion. It wasn't a lie.
Sometimes they do though in the marketing.
Whole filmmaking's a lie.
That's what 1917 did. They're like, it's all shot in one take. I was like, it's not one take though, is it? You've stitched it together. Some films actually. Anyway, sorry. So I think Boyhood.
But I think at the time it was it was new, and
you know what you can't fake. You can't fake someone getting a little bit older every year. Like
no,
you can
of course you can't.
Boyhood.
But you know what was fun is that actually for us would to be like, well, actually it's not shot in one take. They disguise the takes by pointing to darkness and lifting up to the sky and going back down. That would have been our thing, so we knew.
Anyway, that was 2015. I hope you enjoyed this journey down memory lane. If you haven't caught up with episode 167, which is the main show from this week, which we run through the Best Picture nominee contenders for 2025.
We ranked them. We gave our picks.
That's it.
We decided what we're giving our awards to ahead of the awards.
Thank you for joining us, guys. Have a great week. Thank you to our producers, Finn and Dave, as usual. And check us out next week for another episode of Pulp Kitchen. Hope you're well.
Bye, guys. Take care.